Fire Escape Academy inspector training video. We're here in Lowell, Massachusetts. We're here with Bob Marsilius, Commissioner. And this is called the inspection from far away. Must be structurally sound, must be kept painted. That fire escape pass or fail from here?
That fails.
So you really don't have to get there any further because the code is very clear. You must keep it painted, you must be keeping it structurally sound.
Yep.
So that means right from here, you were in your car, you were inspecting a building across the street, you're inspecting this gas station. And you happen to be driving by and you know that that's the Cobblestone restaurant, and you just noticed that it's not been maintained as required by law. You have enough to write a violation. Am I correct?
Right. Yep.
You don't even have to find anything wrong structurally. But you've had some experience and you've had some training that you understand that fire escapes rust from the inside out or the outside in.
Inside out.
And to let that much rust grow on that fire escape, how many years of rust growth or unchecked painting has minimally does that have? 20 to 25 years, right? So now let's walk across and see if we can find something else, because they knew you were coming. Okay, they knew you were coming because you warned them 2 weeks ago that you're doing a fire escape inspection, and they came in and they had a guy come in and paint 100%. So let's not look at this rusty fire escape right now. Let's look at this painted black shiny fire escape. Now, and we'll get closer because I'm sure we can walk inside here. Second thing you look for: evidence of maintenance. This is a 50 to 75-year-old building or older. Look at the old, it's older, so it's 75 to 100 years old.
Yep.
And you're just looking for evidence of maintenance. Because you've got a structure here that you can either see square head bolts, or you can see rivets, or you can see hex heads. Any evidence of maintenance anywhere?
None.
So the stairs, the supports, the platform. You see a release arm anywhere on this?
I don't.
Is there a chain? I see that little bump on the back of the weight box, keeping it from going horizontal. So it can't go. So is this thing balanced or not to your belief? If it's balanced backwards now?
I can't tell.
So you understand if you take a 150-pound woman and a 50-pound child,
may or may not.
She would have to.
But even so, it's blocked by that canopy.
Yes, even so, it's never going to be used because somebody put in something that basically made no sense, and that's not a breakaway. So it's obstructed. So you have a life safety issue. We don't even know what the occupancy in the building is up above, do we? Could be offices.
Rooms. Yeah,
function
I think it's
room.
offices and function rooms.
So right now, the function room, we have a life safety issue just because of that one little piece right there. Okay. Hex head bolts, square head bolts. So we don't see any hex heads.
No.
Now we're going to look for other, because that's the first giveaway that you have enough. Now you have enough structural. Do you see any issues on the cement going into the wall? Do you see any blasting, any spalling of any kind? Oh, they all look pretty tight because the whole building looks nice and tight. You know,
it does. There's some minor cracking, like sills, and you can see underneath that sill. There's see the crack.
Structural crack. You see any rusty tears on any of the supports that would indicate that water's getting in there? I don't see too many. Okay, now let's get a little bit closer. You want to step in here? Look at the weight box underneath.
It's all rusted out.
It's all rusted out underneath. Not huge, but enough. If you look up every tread, do you see any rusty tears coming from behind where the clip is and where the flat is? Do you see some rusty tears here and there? Especially at the very top?
Yeah, I do.
See the rusty tears?
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing we're going to look at, which is typical here for Massachusetts, look at the spacers on all these treads and all these gratings. You see any spacers that are popped, have given way, moved? Straight ahead up above your head here on this one, you see how all the spacers have shifted, they're no longer in alignment?
Yeah.
That's usually because rust is in there blowing them out and pushing them in every direction.
Yeah.
So right now you have a fire escape that somebody can quickly paint and try to get the one over on you. But right now, you got no evidence of maintenance. They're all square head bolts everywhere.
Yeah.
So look at the gussets now. Do you see any rust in the gusset? See the gusset there on that corner right there?
Yeah.
So that gusset, is that any evidence of maintenance on the gusset?
No, no.
But yet there's rust inside the gusset.
And you can see displaced masonry where that angle brace goes into.
Exactly. On the right side, it's blown out. The water's getting in on that one, correct? Let's look at this one.
Follow those angle brackets
Be careful.
down, right?
Yeah. Look at the gusset on this side.
Yeah.
Any rust on that connection and the gussets?
Yeah.
Look at the angle. Now, you talk about the railings. See the pickets? Yeah. Those are just stress tested. But see the corners? Yeah. Original or new hardware on those?
Original.
Original. So if there was ever going to be a failure, it's going to be at this corner. How about tying back into the building? You see some of the brick blown out a little bit on the back? Yeah. So it's these things. So on a typical repair that you want in your city, you want minimally, on this 50 to 75-year-old, you want all the treads rebolted, correct?
Yes.
You want minimally all these gussets rebolted. And what about going into the wall? Because I can't verify. What's the only way you want me to verify the cement going into the wall on this 100-year-old building?
I think they have to replace it or do some sort of testing.
Load test, right? I can load test without any destructive testing, or can I put a support? Can I put an epoxy bolt to the right of that, about 5 inches, epoxy bolt into the old masonry, and then leave sleeping dogs lying on this?
I think so.
Or can I run an angle on this about 10 foot of platform? I run a 3x3 or a 4x4 cross, and every 2 or every 3 feet I epoxy bolt 8 to 12 inches deep with a 3/4 epoxy bolt, and then I mechanically fasten myself back to every one of these C-channels. Do I now need to do any destructive testing to verify for you, or have I duplicated the connection?
Duplicated the connection.
So you're satisfied with that? So you would allow me to rebolt 100% of the treads on the platform, on the cantilever, on the stairs, rebolt the platforms, and then reconnect into the building. So with epoxy anchors, new epoxy anchors, then scrape and paint the fire escape, and this would be a certified repair for you in the city of Lowell?
Yes.
Okay. And then the minor things, and I'll talk about the minor things. These bars don't have to be rewelded or rebolted because they're minor structural, so those just need to be stress tested and confirmed. The in-between rails, the top is a major, but the in-between just need to be good in connection. They don't have to be rebolted if they're in good to excellent condition. And obviously the other thing that's missing here, you need a release arm so that this thing does drop 2 to 3 feet per second. No obstructions down below. Correct? And I need that thing popped out of there. So one of your inspectors needs to speak with them because there's 2 obstructions. There's this one and that one, which now prohibit this thing from dropping down.
And the weight box has to be rebuilt.
Well, when you do the release arm, you have to rebuild the weight box to make it drop 2 to 3 feet per second, correct? And you can't have any obstructions down below. Now, can we get out of here? Is there a gate missing here? Because you need the quickest way out. So we need to make a gate system here so that these people can get out, because this seems the most likely path of travel, correct?
Yeah.
And then most likely once they get to a public way. So we've just basically certified. Now, this is a full fire escape system. I don't know if it's the same building or not, but let's take a look let's take a look at this one.
This had a cantilever, as you can see, it was moved.
Great answer here. And now look, I see somebody upstairs. What's going on here? Because this happens in some states. They remove something without meeting their code now. So does this have a proper second means of egress out of here?
No.
This probably got taken out of here because people were breaking in. Here's the remnants of the cantilever, and they probably needed to do something here. Let's see what it is. So they can still meet the means of egress here. Is it a mathematical problem? Can you at least give them a ladder, a fold-out ladder? If they can't put anything else for whatever reason, what I'm saying, again, it's your call. But is this legal right now? A legal means of egress for the people upstairs. So it's missing pieces, so this is a violation. But now let's take a look at if this was a Juliet balcony, because you're going to get some places where there's what's called Romeo and Juliet balconies, and it's right on the code, 101.3. Original hardware or any change of maintenance?
It's original except for where they put a new railing in to block off what was the access to the cantilever.
Exactly. Yeah. Now talk about the cement. Any blowout?
Yeah, this is worse. It's all obviously the water's gotten in.
Water's got on both of them, right? Let me ask you a question. If I come in here and I'll seal that up because that's the veneer, that's not the structure, right? I'll seal that up really good, and then 5 inches to the right and 5 inches to the left, or I'll put an angle going across, joining the two, unification of a platform, and I'll put 3 or 4 epoxy bolts into the wall, or I'll put 1 epoxy bolt to the left, 5 inches away, 1 bolt 5 inches away, so I can get some good meat. Into the wall 8 to 12 inches. Can I let sleeping dogs lie?
Yeah.
Okay. And then obviously all square heads need to be totally flipped out. Let's talk about the paint on this one, that one, and this one. Older than 1978, EPA renovators licenses apply, right?
Right.
Got lead, no welding allowed. Need a full permit to do any repairs?
Yes.
All repairs in Lowell need a permit? How about a painting only?
No, wouldn't need a permit for painting only.
When's the last time you're going to just paint the fire escape? So very rare can you just paint the fire escape ever, right? Knowing what you know today. So I need a permit on this one in order to do any repairs. You can remove the painting costs from the permit fee, just to lower down the permit fee a little bit. But both of these need a permit to do repairs. And now you need a solution. You need to find out why this was taken away and the final answer was never brought back. If there was a way for me to connect these two together, it'd be great. But otherwise, let's say there is a mathematical reason why this had to happen. Do they need a full fold-out ladder on the side of this? Or is there room in here for a spiral?
Yes, to both. Yeah. They can
So
put a spiral.
if you had a choice, spiral or ladder, which one you want here?
Well, I think in order to prevent access to the building, I think they're trying to keep people from getting.
That's
up.
always the reason, but that still doesn't save lives.
Yeah.
Will you allow a ladder or a spiral?
I'd rather have a spiral.
So there's a spiral. There's plenty of room here for a spiral, correct?
Looks like it, yeah.
Yep. So let's give them a spiral. So they can spiral off to this side over here. And if for some reason, which they have to put in writing to you, they say, spiral is not going to work. It blocks something. You say, okay, minimally I want a fold-out ladder. Yep. And this then will return back to as a proper means of egress, modified at your discretion. Otherwise, leaving this behind means what? There's some unfinished business here, and this has been overlooked. But the renovator's license is very clear. EPA says that you can't touch any fire escape in the United States, not just Lowell, without having a certified renovator touch it because there's lead on every fire escape older than 1978. Yep. Unless they have a document that says it's got low levels or no lead at all, which is very rare because all these were based with primer. Yep. That was lead based. So that's what the city of Lowell wants here. Permits, renovators' licenses, engineer oversight. You're going to allow a vendor to work here unchecked.
No.
Without a permit?
No.
You're going to allow a vendor to work out here without at least 3 visits from a structural engineer. Because in order for this to be guaranteed, a certified guaranteed repair, the owner must contract a structural engineer and or a fire escape engineer, and both of these exist out there, and there must be oversight along with a final sign-off by the building department anyway. So there's 4 times that the vendor's being watched during the repair of this. And prior to painting, all repairs must be certified first, then they can paint it. That's what Lowell's looking for.
Agreed, yes.
Perfect. Again, Fire Escape Academy, inspector training. We're here in Lowell.